Ladies and gentlemen, James Lane here, and tonight we're going to talk all about the bigger picture, the Great Reset. Okay, guys? Why are you looking at me so funny? You mean to tell me you've never heard of the Great Reset? The socialist plan to take over the world? Oh, man, I hope you brought the good stuff. This is gonna scare the out of you. The Great Reset. The Great Reset. The Great Reset. The socialist plan to leverage COVID-19 to take over the world. Yeah, I know it sounds like the plot out of a James Bond movie or maybe even an Austin Powers movie with the characters that are playing right now, but we need to read this. We need to get into this. I have to inform you. It's my duty to inform you because you don't know. You don't know the extent of this. This is coming off of the World Economic Forum website. This isn't some hoax from 4chan. It's not some viral thing. It's been in the public for a long, long time. Guys, the Great Reset. There's an urgent need for global stakeholders to cooperate in simultaneously managing the direct consequences of the COVID-19 crisis. To improve the state of the World Economic Forum is starting the Great Reset Initiative. This should already be scaring you. I know that sounds a little innocent, but take a look. Let's keep going. This says it right here. The context, the COVID-19 crisis, and the political, economic, and social disruptions it has caused is fundamentally changing the traditional context for decision-making. What? It's changing how we make decisions? Really? The inconsistent, does that mean you have to think for... Let's keep reading for a second. The inconsistencies, the inadequacies, and contradictions of multiple symptoms from health and financial caused by the lockdowns, to energy and education caused by the infiltration by socialism, are more exposed than ever amidst a global context of concern for lives, livelihoods, and the planet. Leaders find themselves at a historic crossroads, managing short-term pressures against medium and long-term uncertainties. That's the setup. That's them saying things are really uncertain right now. Things are really out of whack right now. So some outside of the box decisions might have to be made. That's what that context means, ladies and gentlemen. The opportunity, as it says right there, the opportunity as we enter a unique window of opportunity to shape the recovery. This initiative will offer insights to help inform all those determining the future state of global relations, the direction of national economies, the priorities of societies, the nature of business models, the management of global commons, common areas we're sharing now? Drawing from the vision and vast expertise of the leaders engaged across the forum's communities, the Great Reset Initiative has a set of dimensions to build a new social context that honors the dignity of every human being. Oh, doesn't that sound nice? But we know what that leads to. They have their contribution here. This talks about what the World Economic Forum has apparently contributed to the world. The World Economic Forum has developed a reputation as a trusted platform for informed collaboration and cooperation between all stakeholders. Now, I want to talk to you about what those stakeholders are, but let's finish this really quick. Reinforced by a track record of success over 50 years, 5 decades, the forum now offers its experience in building purpose-driven communities in service of the extraordinary challenge and opportunity the world faces for a great reset. The forum provides an unparalleled platform for creating, shaping, and delivering collaborative solutions for the future. Guys, these are the stakeholders. Let's go to their strategic intelligence page and just take a look at their little video for a second. Eye-opening, machines taking over, surrounding the world, cars driving, automation, mass people, equality. Yeah, this is actually quite terrifying if you watch it enough. But I want to show you something. Let's just keep scrolling down past all their scary charts and their COVID-19 crap and how they monitor everything. Let's scroll down and look at their co-curators. Through co-curation, we ensure that public-private partnerships benefit from the insight of world-class knowledge partners. Co-curators are able to share their expertise with the forum's extensive network of members, partners, and constituents, as well as a growing public audience. Those are all the people that actually voted for Joe Biden, not the fake votes and the glitch votes and the written votes, the ballot harvesting, the voter fraud, not all that. This is what the actual people that vote for Biden are voting for. And they're affiliated with Harvard University, MIT, IDB, the Inter-American Development Bank, NUS, the National University of Singapore, Imperial College in London. This is a network of our highest education institutes. International Organization for Migration. Oxford, ETH Zurich, ACET, KAIST, Yale, the European Council on Foreign Relations. And we see what's happening in the EU right now with all their lockdowns and mass unrest, right? I wonder why. Let's look at their content partners. Augmented by machine analysis of more than 1,000 articles a day from carefully selected global think tanks. That's how they manipulate people, by the way, by flooding the internet with a bunch of bullcrap that makes you think differently because it lies to you. Research institutes and publishers, including, let's talk about who these people are. The World Resources Institute, Harvard, the University of Cambridge. Are you seeing a pattern yet? Rand Corporation, LSE Business Review, the Chatham House. I'm not sure what that is. I guess it's the Royal Institute of International Affairs. The European Council again on Foreign Relations, Singapore Institute, ORF, the Pew Research Center. That's where you get a lot of information from. Brookings, the Asian Development Bank. It's another bank. SWP, CARE, Asia Global Institute, the Center for China Globalization. The Center for China Globalization. This is like the part where the history teacher or the math teacher doesn't give you the answers to the test, but gives you the answers to the test. The Center for China, the CCP, for China Globalization, right there. INSEAD, which is the business school for the world, and the World Trade Institute. Guys, say hi to Jack Dorsey right there, too. So that's terrifying, but it's obviously not proof, right? And you're thinking that this is where the video ends, and I leave you on some mystery like Tim Pool might, but I'm not Tim Pool. I'm going to keep going here. I'm actually on the right. Let's read. Now is the time for a great reset. This is from Klaus Schwab, the founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum. This isn't some guy that wrote this or some gal that's sitting in their computer chair with acne on their face, just writing up articles in grad school. No, this is basically the CEO, the chairman. He runs the show, guys, and we're going to read through this, and I'm going to terrify you. I apologize in advance, but you have to know what is coming and what we're trying to stop, okay? COVID-19 lockdowns may be gradually easing, but anxiety about the world's social and economic prospects is only intensifying, trying to scare you. There's a good reason to worry, see? A sharp economic downturn has already begun, and we could be facing the worst depression since the 1930s. Spooky, right? But while this outcome is likely, it isn't unavoidable. To achieve a better outcome, and by the way, this is supposed to be for the world because this is the World Economic Forum, and this is Klaus Schwab out of freaking Switzerland or wherever they are up there. He's not an American, but he's talking to America. Don't you see that? He's talking to America. We could be facing the worst depression since the 1930s. America leads the way. And if America falls to socialism, so does the world. You see where I'm going with this? To achieve a better outcome, the world must act jointly and swiftly to revamp all aspects of our societies and economies. Ding, ding, ding. Red flag right there. from education to social contracts, there's your racial justice, and working conditions. Not that anything's wrong with real racial justice, but this racial justice crap they're peddling, it ain't about race, folks. This is about different organizations of classes, and it's a strategy of pitting these classes against each other to divide communities in order to seize power. Coup 101, ladies and gentlemen, coup 101. Every country from the United States to China must participate, and every industry from oil, gas, and tech must be transformed. Joe Biden doesn't like fracking, huh? He's transitioning from oil, huh? Right there. Right there. In short, we need a great reset. Do you see that? Of capitalism. If I had here, no red flag. We have a red crab. This is a red crab, not a red flag, a red crab. It's just like a red flag, except it pinches you in the ass to wake your ass up to see this. We need a great reset of capitalism, they're saying to the world, and Joe Biden's ready to volunteer. There are many reasons to pursue a great reset, but the most urgent is COVID-19 having already led to hundreds and thousands of deaths. The pandemic represents one of the worst public health crises in recent history, and with casualties still mounting in many parts of the world, it's far from over spooky. This will have serious long-term consequences for economic growth, public debt, employment, and human well-being. See, they want to set you up for this. They're setting you up to feel this over the long term. It's already too late, guys. The long-term consequences are here. Give up, concede. We're not conceding. I'm sorry to tell you. According to the Financial Times, global government debt has already reached its highest level in peacetime. Moreover, unemployment is skyrocketing in many countries. In the U.S., for example, 1 in 4 workers have filed for unemployment. Since mid-March, with new weekly claims far above historic highs, the International Monetary Fund expects the world economy to shrink by 3% this year, a downgrade of 6.3 percentage points in just 4 months. So, folks, they're just throwing out more numbers to scare you. This is fear tactics. This whole first part of this article, let's suppress people. Let's scare people. Let's let them know that the dark winter is coming. Right, Joe? All of this will exacerbate the climate and social crises that were already underway. The Black Lives Matter groups that march into Biden supporter groups and make them swear allegiance to them, or they're just as racist as cops that kill black people. Haven't you seen that video? You can go Google it. There's a video out there. There's multiple videos out there. Black Lives Matter is now marching their ass up to Biden supporters, and making them swear allegiance. They call us brown shirts and bootlickers. They call us fascists. I'm educated. You're educated. If you're watching this, I'm sure you're educated. And you know as well as I do that type of behavior is the same type of behavior that convinced a nation to commit genocide on the Jewish people. We cannot allow this to happen here. Okay? We can't. You know it, and I know it. All right, we have to keep reading this. Left unaddressed, these crises, together with COVID-19, will deepen and leave the world even less sustainable, less equal, and more fragile. Incremental measures and ad hoc fixes will not suffice to prevent this scenario. We must build an entirely new foundation for our economic and social systems. I wonder what that is when they just talked about getting rid of capitalism. The level of cooperation and ambition this implies is unprecedented, but it is not some impossible dream. In fact, one silver lining of the pandemic is that it has shown how quickly we can make radical changes to our lifestyles. Oh, goody, radical changes to our lifestyles. Are you ready for that? Are you ready to get dragged out of your home in zip ties for not adhering to these radical changes? Are you ready to be beaten and tortured for not adhering to these radical changes? Are you willing to be black bagged and sent to re-education camps, sent to prison for decades for not adhering to these changing times? Almost instantly, the crisis forced businesses and individuals to abandon practices long claimed to be essential, from frequent air travel to working in the office. Likewise, populations have overwhelmingly shown a willingness, just come willingly, guys, we won't hurt you, to make sacrifices for the sake of healthcare and other essential workers and vulnerable populations, such as the elderly. Do it for us, guys. Let's go to socialism. Come on, you don't want to be mean to grandma, right? Socialism's better for grandma. And many companies have stepped up to support their workers, customers, and local communities in a shift towards the kind of stakeholder capitalism to which they had previously paid lip service. You know what sellout companies they're talking about? They're talking about companies like Netflix that put cuties on there. The pornography of cuties. They exploit children in the companies that support this. Goodyear, companies that are bowing to this social justice movement and actually becoming more bigoted, more racist, more segregated because they're falling for their trap. They're falling for the horse and pony show, for the smoke and mirrors. Clearly, the will to build a better society does exist, and we must use it to secure the great reset that we so badly need. That will require stronger and more effective governments. And though this does not imply an ideological push for bigger governments, and it will demand a private sector engagement every step of the way. So what they're saying is the private sector needs to go along with the government to save the planet. It's like the same type of stuff they talk about with climate change. And trust me, these people have a climate change agenda too. The Great Reset agenda would have three main components. The first would steer the market towards fairer outcomes. Oh, we choose that now, huh? To this end, government should improve coordination, for example, in tax, regulatory, and fiscal policy. They need to upgrade their trade arrangements. They need to create the conditions for a stakeholder economy. At a time of diminishing tax bases and soaring public debt, governments have a powerful incentive to pursue such action. Moreover, government should implement long overdue reforms and promote more equitable outcomes. Don't you remember the other day? Don't you remember when Kamala Harris basically endorsed socialism when she said the problem isn't equity of outcomes or equality of outcomes, it's the equity, it's the problem that people start out in different places, so no matter how good they do, they don't ever end up in the same spot. So somebody that was poor, like me, who worked my butt off, somebody who is poor should have the same start as somebody who's not poor. Everybody needs an equal start. And everybody needs an equal future, too. The future that the government will decide for you. Look it up. Kamala Harris said it. She wants everybody to end up in the same spot. And that is socialism. That is what they're asking for. Moreover, we talked about that. Now, depending on the country, these may include changes to wealth taxes, the withdrawal of fossil fuel subsidiaries. That's what Joe Biden said he was going to do. The new rules governing intellectual property, trade, and competition. No more competition. Pure censorship. That's what comes from this. The second component of a Great Reset agenda would ensure that investments advance shared goals such as equality and sustainability. Okay? Here, the large-scale spending programs that many governments are implementing represent a major opportunity for progress. The European Commission, for one, has unveiled plans for a 750 billion euro, that's 826 billion American, recovery fund to basically socialize things, to give the handouts out, to fix everything. Nobody has to work for it. Everything is for free. Silent complicity. The U.S., China, and Japan have ambitious economic stimulus plans. Rather than using these funds, as well as investments from private entities and pension funds to fill cracks in the old systems, we should use them to create a new system, a new one that is more resilient, equitable, sustainable in the long run. And this means, for example, building green urban infrastructure, and creating incentives for industries to improve their track record on environmental, social, and governance metrics. It's out of hand. You ever hear of corporate social responsibility? Google that term. Just Google it. It's what businesses do now to make people happy in the world so that people trust them and they make more money. It's not defined like that, but it'll be easy for you to figure out. The third and final priority of a Great Reset agenda is to harness the innovations of the fourth industrial revolution. What the hell is that? To support the public good, especially by addressing health and social challenges. During the COVID-19 crisis, companies, universities, and others have joined forces to develop diagnostics, therapeutics, and possible vaccines, establish testing centers, create mechanisms for tracing infections, and deliver telemedicine. Imagine what could be possible if similar concerted efforts were made in every sector. Like what? What sectors besides medicine? Like education? We're going to streamline that and change that. Science, or what science means. How about God? What are you going to do to church, to synagogues, to mosques? What are you going to do? God doesn't fit in with socialism. God doesn't accept complacency. The military? Are we going to do this to the military? What happens next? The COVID-19 crisis is affecting every facet of people's lives in every corner of the world. But tragedy need not be its legacy. On the contrary, the pandemic represents a rare but narrow window, and we're in that narrow window, and that's what we're trying to stop and put off for now, of opportunity to reflect, reimagine, and reset our world to create a healthier, more equitable, and more prosperous future. Guys, this is terrifying. Look at this chart here. Let me zoom in a little bit for you, if I can. Look at this. Here's the Great Reset. They want to shape the economic recovery, redesign social contracts, skills, and jobs, restoring health of the environment, developing sustainable business models, revitalizing global cooperation, strengthening regional development, harnessing the fourth industrial revolution. It says, look, drones, digital identity, 5G, internet governance, the ocean, developing finance, banking and capital markets. People don't read through this stuff. Sustainable development, aviation, travel, and tourism. This is all the stuff they want to control and change. Future of healthcare and health, international trade and investment, global governance. It's right there. Global governance. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up and wake up your neighbor and wake up everybody. COVID-19, financial and monetary systems. Change the value of the dollar. Get rid of the dollar. Who knows? Biodiversity, public finance, and social protection. Social protection from what is that? Can you define that for me? Cities and urbanization, climate change, leadership in the fourth industrial revolution. I know I'm turning my head. That's kind of silly. Workforce and employment, international security, agile governance, geopolitics, global risks, future of food. You know, I remember a Charlton Heston movie, and when he found out was wrong, he cried out to the heavens that Soylent Green was made of people. Now, I'm not saying the government's going to start cooking the dead and feeding it to you, but the future of food is a frightening thing to think about. Who's going to develop that? Is it China, the same people that made the COVID-19 virus to bring this whole thing about? Air pollution, 3D printing, plastics, batteries, corporate governance. They want to run all the companies too. That's what socialism does. Circular economy, forests, future of mobility, justice and law. How do you want to change everything with justice and law? That, you know what falls under justice and law and governance and all that other stuff? Our Constitution. Why do you think they're trying to delegitimize it? Guys, you know what their top things are up here? LGBT inclusion and gender parity. We want a socialist, genderless, gray alien-skinned future society where our children can be raised in a world that says that freedom is evil and conforming is God, heaven, and the Almighty. Folks, We don't want this. This is real. This is real. This is real. I said it 3 times for you. Okay? I've given you the test answers. These are the red flags, guys. The Great Reset, they want it. They want it bad. That's what this election's all about. If they can change this country and invalidate our system collapses. It's no more. And then the rest of the world falls forever. Guys, we can't let that happen. We won't let that happen. The patriots of this country will stand tall and not let that happen. And all of us together, we are going to scream out in one voice that we will not take it, we will not accept it, we will not tolerate it. Joe Biden is not the president. This election is still in play, and we have all the cards up our sleeves. Just wait, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the only one that hasn't backtracked. Landslide's coming. I'll talk to you later. Oh, good. I am glad you're still here, comrade. I need you to do me big favor. I need you to go and hit this like button right here. I need you to hit this share button right here. And most important of all, I need you to come up here and hit the subscribe button. Yes, you have to hit the subscribe button and subscribe to American Revelry YouTube channel. Good. And then, comrade, when you're done, go up to the parlor. All right, I need you to find the parlor. Go into your app store, your Google Play Store, and find Parler. Parler. Okay, Parler. And when you get on the Parler, either in the app or www.parler.com, you come and find at the James Lane. The James Lane, the owner and the president of the American Revelry. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you this so much, and I look forward to building gigantic, united, right-wing community with you.